Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BlueSync on this Thursday, April 18th, 2024. I'm glad to see Paul is on because our topic today is all about browsers. We're talking Google Chrome, we're talking Microsoft Edge, because unfortunately, for a lot of us, it's a necessary evil because of our check scanners. So we're going to talk a little bit today about how to clear your history, how to clear your cache, and then also some of the reasons why you may use incognito windows or what Microsoft calls them in private windows. So we'll go ahead and jump on. Paul, feel free to interject with further tips, tricks, or correct me if I say something wrong. So we are going to talk about Google Chrome first. It's where most of us spend most of our time. We've been solely in the Google world since 2019 with Gmail, Google Drive, Sheets, Docs, all kinds of things. So this is how you can clear your cookies. Now, I know it sounds like the most annoying help desk statement of all times, but that's the first question, right? Have you cleared your cookies and cache? Also, have you rebooted? I know it sounds annoying, but 75% of the time it fixes the problem. So I know it sounds like it's just a repeat, but until you've tried those two things, generally we can't dig into deeper troubleshooting because a lot of times that's just the issue. It's technology. Things get hung up. So we just have to make sure that we're starting fresh from first base to make sure that we have everything else checked off the box. So as you're seeing on the screen right now is Google Chrome. And I have mine on dark mode. Yours may look white. It may look a little bit differently. I'm on a Mac, you may be on a PC, but in general, the concept is the same. So in order to, and maybe you just do this on, a general time frame for yourself. Maybe this is just something that you like to do. But if you're working with a help desk and they say, have you cleared your cookies and cache, the first thing you want to do is go to the three little dots in the upper right corner. Now, again, your menus may look different. You may have to go into settings here. And again, it just depends on your version. You should be up to date. I promise I am. I made sure of that before I shared my screen today because I didn't want to get yelled at by Paul. So your settings may look a little bit differently. So you may have to go into settings, but you can see right here on mine is clear browsing data. So that's what you're looking for is clear browsing data. Once you click on that, you are going to have this pop-up box come up. And this is where you have the options of what you want to clear. So browsing history, cookies and all other site data, and cached image and files. Now, cookies are not chocolate chip. They're not butterscotch, unfortunately, as much as we all love cookies. Cookies are basically what your system saves in order to help your browser load faster the next time. It's kind of like a memory. It kind of stays in there, so it's not starting from ground zero when you go to open up some of those sites that you've visited before. The cache and the history, kind of the same thing. So this is where you want to make sure that you choose what you want to do. So check the box, and click clear data. Now I know it's annoying, right? Because now you're starting from fresh. Every time you go to a website, it's reloading like it's the first time you've ever been there. But trust me, it does solve a lot of the issues that we see when it comes to logging into Desk, when it comes to logging into Darwin, Dash. A lot of different things get stuck sometimes in that history and cache, and to be able to clear them out truly does help in order to load your system clearly. So again, we're just in Google Chrome. We go to our three little dots. We can either go into settings or right here, you probably have the option clear browsing data. Check what you want to do. You also have a time frame. If you really want to make sure that you are resetting at ground zero, just choose all time. If you've been working on a special project, if you're troubleshooting maybe with Paul or another help desk, they may give you different direction. But just to make sure that you're clear, go ahead and do all time and then click clear data. So that is how you do it in Google Chrome. Now, if you're in Edge with a lot of times certain hardware mandate that you have to be in one product or the other, obviously we suggest using Google Chrome for everything. We know Moxie works best in Google Chrome. It's where our email resides, our drive resides, but there may be a setting that you have to use Microsoft Edge. So in this particular case, just to be different, because why be the same? Their three little dots are also in the upper right corner, but they're horizontal as opposed to vertical. But that is the same three little dots that you're looking for, just in a different setup. And then from here, you can go to settings. And then you're going to go to privacy, search and services. And then this is where you can go to clear browsing data and choose what to clear. And again, same concept that you had in Google Chrome. It's going to give you your time range. My Google Chrome defaulted to all time. Edge is defaulting to last hour, but did default to all the checkboxes. Once you do that, you click clear now. It's going to clear out your browser history. And again, that's clearing out all that history, all that cache. It's making sure that when you reload any of your websites, it's starting from ground zero. Paul, is there anything you wanted to add to that before we start talking about incognito or in private browsers?
No, that's pretty much perfect. You could also navigate to those three dots, click history, and then there's a little trash can icon. That's easy, even easier than going into the settings. So
Fantastic. Thank
all
you.
ways to clear your history.
And we all know that Chrome and other websites like to update themselves continuously. Obviously, it's a known evil. They have to because all the spammers and hackers out there are always trying different ways to get in. So our browsers have to stay on top of some of those security settings. So they do a lot of updating. So if it's ever looking a little different, which it could, just look for those things, the words history, cookies, cache, that's what you're looking for to clear. Now, there's a lot of reasons why we do this outside of troubleshooting as well. Some of those are just performance based. If you've noticed a lag, the site's not loading the way it used to, you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting it for load, you can try clearing out your browser history or cache because that may speed up your performance. There just may be a lot in there that's bogging it down. Now, we do know that when you clear your history, it can be a little annoying because it will clear out some things for you. If you're using a password manager, that's your best bet. So don't save passwords, just because you clear your history. We don't want you to lose all your passwords. So make sure that you're using a password keeper of some sort. So that way, if you are clearing your history, you don't have to go through that annoyance of having to go back and remember all of your passwords. So use a password keeper.
Yeah,
We
and
also
one
do.
thing that if you
Mhm.
could show them just to on Chrome, because that's mainly where we reside with our passwords, is just double checking to make sure that you're syncing your data. By seeing that icon in the top right. And when you click on it, it should show that you're signed in and sync is on. That means if you're using the Google Password Manager, all of your passwords will be saved in your Google account. So if that says sync is off, any of the passwords that you have saved recently, have the chance of not, potentially not being synced to your account. So just make sure you're signed in there. And that'll make sure it backs up your bookmarks and your passwords to your CB Great Lakes or your Florida account or Ohio.
Very good point. Typically, if it's gone through an update, it may say paused. It may have a little blue bar that says paused, or it may say something like off. That's how you're going to know it's not syncing. So you do want to make sure that you're clicking on that icon and sync is on. Now, if you're on a guest computer, maybe you're in a conference room or something and you're in guest mode, anything you do in guest mode is not going to sync either. So you want to make sure you're logged in first to your correct Google account. So if you have a Gmail account or something personally, you want to make sure you're in your Google workspace provided by the Schmidt family of companies. I obviously have a Gmail account myself. I make sure that my headshot is two different headshots. That way I visually know right away that I am in my correct browser for my work account. That's more important on my cell phone when I have both accounts. It really does help differentiate between both. So if you're operating an office account, maybe you have, Petoskey at cbgreatlakes.com, plus you have your personal first dot last. Make sure that you have two different pictures. That really will help you know which browser you're in. So as you're going back and forth, you know which you're syncing your data to. Also, good tip, if you are in a conference room, make sure you log off. Make sure you get out of your Google account and don't keep it signed in. So a
Yep.
couple good tips there. So thank you for that one, Paul. Um, and also make sure that you are keeping your browsers updated. As I mentioned, as some security glitches come up, as they notice if there's a crack in their armor, they do push out updates all the time. So we do want to make sure that you are keeping your browsers up to date, and that's a huge thing when it comes to security. So make sure you're staying up to date. If you're having a problem with that, don't hesitate to reach out to myself, to Paul, to Kelly. We'll make sure that we are able to help you out in that case. Now, I use Google Chrome incognito window all the time. All the time. I get into 12 different dashes. I get into multiple different CB desks, multiple different Moxie platforms. And the good thing is they're all very sticky. It's very useful for agents when they're getting in and out of all their products because they only have one account. So it's great that it's sticky. They're not constantly having to re-sign in or make sure that they're in their right account. So it works seamlessly for them. For those of us that toggle back and forth, incognito is genius because incognito is basically like you just cleared all your history and cache. There's no memory there. You're starting fresh, ground zero. Couple different ways you can launch that in Google Chrome. You can click the three little dots, new incognito window. I typically find myself going to File, new incognito window as well. So if an agent says, hey, I can't find my listing, I just listed it, it's in the MLS, it's showing on Zillow, blah, but it's not on coldbanker.com. So I always suggest if you are doing some of that tech support for an agent, launch incognito because it very well may be there, but they may have a history cache of their website that just hasn't updated yet. Now we know you can always click the reload button, but again, to make sure that it's accurate information that it is actually missing or the pictures aren't loading right or the square footage is wrong, try it in incognito. It really will give you a good idea if it actually is a problem or maybe it was just a timing issue. So again, in Chrome, you can do File Incognito or you can do the three little dots and Incognito. And again, that will launch a new window. And then that will make sure that you are starting at ground zero with no history, no cache, and no yummy cookies. This is also something that you can do if an agent is struggling to log into their account on their computer and you say, hey, have you tried an incognito window? A lot of agents don't understand that. So you can walk them through that. That can help them troubleshoot as well with some of the issues that they're having on their system. Now, you cannot run two separate incognito windows and have them be two separate starting from ground zero. Learn this the hard way when I go in and out of Moxie all the time. So I'll have my normal browser up. I'll launch an incognito window. A lot of times I'll minimize that, forgetting it's there, and I'll launch a new incognito window. I'm still sticky to that last incognito window. So it's kind of a one-time thing. So make sure that you'll know if you're in incognito because see how my headshot disappears? To Paul's point, when you want to make sure you're syncing, as soon as I launched incognito, that went away. So I know I'm not in my synced Google Workspace account. Now, Edge kind of has the same option. They call it in private because why not just be slightly different? So in order to get to there, you want to click the three little dots, much like Chrome, but again, instead of vertical, it's horizontal, new in private window. Now it's going to say in private, but because I don't have my Edge account logged into, I hardly ever use it, if ever. In fact, I had to download Edge just for this training. Normally, if you do have your Microsoft account logged in, your headshot or your icon would be there. In private shows just like Incognito did, and it makes sure that you know that you're in private. So again, it's just like you had cleared all history, cookies, or cache by launching either Incognito or in private. It's a great way to start fresh. Understand if your login issue is a history cache issue or if it's an actual issue. Also really good for troubleshooting if listings aren't showing up properly. Try the incognito or in private window. A lot of times that can give us a truer picture of what's going on without having to blame it on, timing or history or something stuck in cache. Anything to add to that topic, Paul?
Well, that sounds perfect.
Great. Any questions from anybody on the call? I'll go ahead and pop open my chat box or feel free to unmute. I can't even have Edge up. I'm going to go back to Google Chrome while we wait. So again, make sure you're clearing history cookies cache. If you're having issues, make sure that you know if you're syncing to your account. Pay attention to your headshot there. And don't forget about incognito in private. It can be a really good way to troubleshoot some certain issues. And I don't see any questions that have come up. As always, don't hesitate to reach out after the fact. I appreciate all of your time today. As always, the recording will go up in our BlueSync video playlist on Schmidt Video Classroom, also available from Schmidt Resources. Thanks everyone for your time today. Appreciate it. Bye now.